Hey, my truth seekers, how are you guys doing? Hope you all are doing great, trying to make sure everything is set up. Thank you for coming on to my live, guys. Sorry about all that. Sorry about all that. Hold on. All right, guys. Okay, sorry about all that. Trying to make sure that everything is okay, everything is good. So hold on a second. Let me make sure that I get all this because I see that I have two windows open. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about all that. You know how it is when you come live, but nobody's mad but the devil, okay? When we are not going to give him no glory at all. So, guys, again, welcome to my live Real Talk with your girl, Lady D, unapologetic and unbiased. And as I always tell you guys, this platform right here is not for everybody. It's for those that are seeking truth, okay? And like I said, we don't have all the answers, but one thing that we do know is if we do our research, trust me, it's going to start unfolding. And one thing that you cannot do is you cannot keep hiding the truth. Sooner or later, the truth going to slowly but find its way back home. So I'm getting everything together, and then I'm going to go ahead and get into all this right here. And again, guys, welcome to Real Talk with your girl, Lady D. Just making sure that everything is okay before I go ahead and start my live. Make sure you go ahead and hit like or however you feel led for more unapologetic content because you know how it is. Some people, we don't want to hear the truth. We can allow everybody else to tell us all this other stuff, but when we start sitting there doing our own research, then we want to go ahead and question it all. So, as you can see right here by the title, guys, I have when it comes to biblical texts, I didn't say biblical verses, scriptures, like I said, now I am just, seeking. I am seeking, try to make all this make sense. And what we're going to do, guys, we're going to know, like I said, we have to rightfully divide the word of truth. So I'm trying to go ahead and get myself situation, guys. But as you can see right here by the title, it says when it comes to biblical text, what is real and what is a metaphorically speaking. And let me go ahead and give you the definition when it comes to metaphorically speaking or metaphor. I'm gonna give you the definition for that, and then we're gonna go ahead and dive right into it because, like I said, a lot of stuff that we was taught, it's like now we have to just question everything. And I don't know about you guys, I remember when I was a young child, they say you never question, if it is, that's what it is, it settles. But we also know that man has put in their hands in so much stuff, and that's why we have to rightfully divide the word of truth. Now I have so many tabs open, so that's why I'm not going to go ahead and carry them up because I know that I was going to go ahead and have problems. And I'm gonna see, how far I'm going to go with this because you know how it is. I start off with something, then, just because I look at with the natural eyes, then I start moving on to something else. But I truly believe that a workman should not be ashamed of rightfully dividing the word of truth. And like I said, we are now in the age of information where everything is out at a push of a button. We don't even have to go into these public libraries anymore. everything is right here in the comfort of our home, and I truly believe that this is it. This is what I call the last trumpet sound. And this generation right here, they're not going to just sit down and just allow these people to tell them anything. And why would you? Why would people that oppress and suppress your people, what makes you think, just like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has said in so many different, it's so many, it's not his words verbatim, where he said, how could you expect the same ones that oppress you, how do you expect that these people are going to go ahead and teach you? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to go into the beginning. We're going to have to, like I said, when it comes to our history, it goes very, very far. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take biblical texts and I'm going to take it into science. And I never thought, in my age, I would even do things like this. But like I said, this right here is the age of information. And I believe that this right here is what's going to bring Goliath to his knees. He that have an ear, let him hear when I say Goliath to his knees, because see, Goliath think that, just because he have this iron arm or teeth that is made of steel, and some of you guys might know exactly what I'm talking about, that nothing can tear that down, because that's what they hide behind. They hide behind Goliath, that giant, that military. But what it's going to take, it's going to take us to educate ourselves. It's going to take us to start searching. And like I said, this is the age of information, where, trust me, it's going to be the age of information versus the stuff that they've been tearing down and causing havoc with. So let me go ahead, guys, and give you the definition of metaphorically and or metaphor. Let me give you the definition for this so I can go ahead and close this this tab down. But let me go ahead and share this with you guys, because trust me, I'm going somewhere, and I'm going to I was going to go ahead and do a pre-record, just give a video. But see, when I give a video, I do a video, I can't be my authentic self. So I'm just going to allow my ancestors, yes, my ancestors, to speak through me. Now, I might be all over the place, but one thing I know, that my ancestors does speaks to me, okay? So let me go ahead and pull this up right here. I'm going to give you the definition to metaphorically. And I'm from the South, guys. I have this deep accent. So, and I mean the deep South. So make sure you go ahead and bear with me. So right here, it means in a way that is used or related to metaphor. A metaphor is a figure of speech that refers to one thing in terms of another, suggested a resemblance. For example, the phrase born again is used metaphorically to mean that someone has accepted Jesus as God and become a Christian. It's like with Nicodemus. I don't know if you guys, some of you guys that are familiar with certain scriptures in the Bible, but Nicodemus, he was a priest. He was one of the most educated priests. But when it was time for him to get into his spiritual knowledge, he was like a child, because Nicodemus, when Jesus, and we, like I said, I'm gonna say Jesus, but we're gonna, like I said, it's a lot of stuff that we got to go ahead and shake off, because we've been indoctrinated. So just bear with me with this, okay, guys? But Nicodemus, he was ashamed to go by day, so he went by night. And it was saying in a scripture in the New Testament that he had visited Jesus, and when Jesus was telling him that he have to be born again. So imagine, someone that was a Bible scholar, a grown man, would ask Jesus, how can, and I'm paraphrasing it, how can I be born again? Can I enter back into my mother's womb? So Jesus was telling not that type of birth. He was talking about a spiritual birth, that you have to be born again. So right there, that was a metaphor, just like some of the stuff when it says that Jonah was swallowed by a fish. Some of us take that literally, but it's not. But that's another topic by itself as well. So some stuff, what I'm trying to get you guys to see, that it was metaphoric or maybe allegories, and we're going to know exactly what to chew and what to spit out, because just like I said, a workman should not be ashamed of rightfully dividing the word of truth. So I was just trying to give you, just an example of what metaphorically means. Okay. So now that you got it, I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. So, like I said, guys, we have to go into what I call the beginning. And it's so many questions are out there, so many questions, people are asking, especially when we seen all this stuff is going on right now with the Philistines and Israel. But like I said, all the stuff that you see right now, it's nothing new under the sun. We already been through it. Our people already been through it. Our people been scattered abroad. Our people been, I mean, we went through so much. So seeing what they are going through right now, it's like just water running off of a duck, because we've been through all this. It's where now, it's like we numb to some of this stuff. And some of our people, we have strayed so far away because of all the stuff that they had inflicted on our people. And where now it's like some of our people, where you see right now, they have just thrown in the tower. They had just given up. So I want to go back into the beginning. I want to go back into the beginning, because like I said, when it comes to our people are spiritual people. We are spiritual people, because we are connected to the Most High God. And that's how these devils, yes, these devils, and that's how they was able to manipulate, and that's how they was able to suck us in, because what they did was they use what they know that we like, what we are connected to, and that's our spirituality. And what they did was they went and they plot, which I call them crafty counselors, and they came up with religion. Yes, religion. Now I know I don't lost some of you people right now, because we are some very religious people, but that's what the enemy wanted us to believe, that we was religious people, but that was man-made. Man, the one that had attached all these names and all these maps and drew all these lines, just in order to separate us. But we are spiritual people that is connected directly to the Most High God. And I'm going to prove it to you guys. I'm going to prove it to you guys within 1 hour. Okay. So I was going to say this right here is lesson one, but I'm the type of person that I'm just all over the place. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into let's go into Genesis chapter 1, 26 and 28. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Genesis chapter 1. And like I say, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something that, was considered as a taboo to me. But I was asking the Most High God, why did you waited until I get into my older age, and then all this information, start downloading me with this information? Because he know that if I was young, I wouldn't have been able to soak in all this information that he's downloading into me. But let's go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and share this screen right here, guys. Let me see if I can go ahead and share the screens in Genesis chapter 126 through 28. And you can read from whatever Bible that you want to go ahead and read into. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to take it into, like I say, all the information that is out there. I'm going to do the age of information, and also I'm going to do biblical text. So right here, it says in Genesis 1:26 through 28, and I'm just reading the King James Version. You can read whatever you want. Sometimes I read the NIV Bible, in order to go ahead and break it down. So right here in 26, it says, and God said, let us make man in our image and our likeness. So this is where I want to go, where it says in here that God said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and have dominion. So those are the three things that I want to go ahead and pull out when it says, God say, let us make man in our image. So when you think of something or someone saying, let us make man in our image, that means that that man going to have the same characteristic, the same likeness. He's going to resemble whoever is creating him, right? That's just like when, you have a child. When you have a child, that child should resemble his father, his mother. It should have some kind of resemblance. So I want to show you guys, like I said, I didn't make this information up. I didn't put it in here. It was already out there. It's just that I know exactly how to rightfully divide the word of truth. Okay. And if you have any questions, if you want to go ahead and you have a different idea that you want to go ahead and say about it, then feel free. But this is what I want to go ahead and talk about. I want to go to talk about what did God say? Let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and have dominion over pretty much the entire planet. And he also said in 26, well, 27, and God created man in his own image. It say in his own image, in the image of God, created him, male and female, created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Now he said, replenish the earth. That means that man had dominion not over just one spot, one's like one piece of land, but no, he had dominion over the entire planet. So if man had dominion over the entire planet and man was made in his image, then I want to know who was that first man. Who was that first man? I want to know, if he was made in God's image, how did that man look? Now, some people might sit there and say, oh, it doesn't matter how God looked. Yes, it does matter. If your child does not look like his father, his mother, then you're going to start questioning that, right? So why would you say that it doesn't matter? And I know when it comes to stuff like this, no, I'm not going to get a lot of people, but God say it to them anyway, okay? It's just like, and that's another metaphor. When God told Jonah to go to Tasha, but Jonah didn't want to go to Tasha. Jonah went ahead and he went to Nineveh. So when God said there and say, the Most High God say, tell it to him, you tell it to him anyhow, okay? And we also going to go ahead and break down God, okay? Because we thinking that God is, some we look at it as some spooky stuff, okay? But we want to break down all those scriptures as well, because I didn't get to that verse, but you remember when Adam and Eve had sinned against God, where it said that God was walking in the cool of the day. Now, I can go back into that, but I want to go ahead and break this down right here for you. Okay, so right here, my 3 points that I'm trying to go ahead and make, that God was made, that man was made in the image of God, in his likeness, and God had gave him dominion over the entire planet. And you all know that I had broke some of this down on several of my videos. Make sure you go ahead and check it out. When, before the Pangea, the landmass, everything was connected together. It wasn't, different maps with, different countries and continents. It wasn't that. Everything was connected to one. And so we're going to go ahead and get to that. So now that I had read that to you guys, and that's coming out of Genesis 1:26 and 28, and it may sounds like or seems like I'm all over the place, then I'm just all over the place, because I'm just going to let you, like I say, the Most High God just lead and guide me to all truth, okay? So let me go ahead and pull up this right here. We're going to see what science, yes, science have to say about this. Now we know exactly what the Bible says, and that right there to some of you guys, oh, it may be a taboo. Oh, she's questioning God. No, God said workmen should not be ashamed of rightfully dividing the word of truth. We know when it comes to certain scriptures and we come to certain texts in the Bible. That's why I say texts. Text. I didn't say scriptures or verses. I say text because we know that man had whitewashed a lot of stuff. So let's go in and see what science says about that. So let me go ahead and pull this up right here. Now, remember, I had said that I'm looking for where it says God made man in his image and his likeness and gave him dominion. So who is that man? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go pull that up right there. So let me go ahead and share this screen right here. I'm gonna get out of this one right here. And that's why I say, guys, this right here is what I call the age of information. No more of these hocus pocus stories. No more of these hocus pocus lies. Okay. This is a Joshua generation that is seeking truth. They sick and tired of being sick and tired. Okay. And I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Okay. Because I'm sick of these people that wants to say, oh, this is what it is. Uh, but if it's what it is, then, and you say that I'm going to stick with what I have, then why you dipping and dabbing in all this other stuff? Why you want to go and crack your bank and pay Peter to pay Paul, worrying about all these different holidays, Christmas, and breaking your neck for all these holidays. So quite obvious, you don't have God in you. You have a form of godliness because you worshiping pagans gods. So miss me with all this. Because the first thing they say, oh, this is abomination. Well, abomination is when you break in your bank to sit there and try to spend all your money just for Christmas and all these different holidays and worshiping all these Easter bunnies and all this other stuff. Like I said, when it comes to our people, we pick and choose what is good and what is right. So, like I said, miss me with all this. So right now, we're going to see who is the first man that God made, because we was told that it was Adam and Eve. Okay, I take that name Adam and Eve, but let me see how Adam and Eve look. Did they was in the image of God? Was they made in the image of God? If they was made in the image of God, then how did they look? Well, according to science, let's see what science says about this. Okay, let's go ahead into science. Now, this right here, it's talk about, because like I said, man, they attach all these names. Man came to with all these names. God didn't come with all these names, because God said, I am who I am. That means whoever you say he is, that's who he is. If he wants to be your bright and morning star, if he wants to be your lily in the valley, that's who he is. But man went ahead and attached all these labels. Okay, so we're gonna go with Homo sapiens. Okay, now in the Bible they didn't say nothing about Homo sapiens. They talked about Adam and Eve. Okay, so right here, let me see if I can go ahead and pull this up. I'm gonna pull this up. I'm not gonna read this one right here. um because they were saying where everything, well, let me go ahead and read some of this right here. They said that the species Homo sapien, which included all living humans. They didn't say a certain sect of people. They say all living humans. Now, this right here is according to science, okay? Evolved in where? In Africa during the time of the dramatic climate change, and then say something about 300,000 years ago and all this other stuff. And some saying, the Garden of Eden was in Botswana. But like I say, all that stuff right there, yeah, we're going to take all that in consideration. But let's go ahead and read this part right here. So what I'm trying to show you guys right now is that we trying to find out who was made in the image of God, who was made in the image of God. And if God gave him dominion over the entire planet, now right here, according to science, the science is saying it was a black man. It was all in Africa. Like I said, guys, I didn't make all this stuff up. I didn't make all this stuff up. It says right here. Okay. Let's go and read this right here. Now, like I said, I'm following along with you guys, okay? Because I didn't read it, but like I said, I know this information is out here. So, right here, it says, where did our species come from? Is a question we still don't have the answer to. Now, right there, they're going to say, oh, they don't have the answer to. Now, you got the answer to everything else. But see, when it comes to identifying and put a face to it, now they want to have question. That's why I said that a workman should not be ashamed of rightfully dividing the word of truth. How do you expect the same people, like I said, oppress and suppress you? They're gonna be teaching you to tell you the truth. They don't want to tell you the truth. No, indeed. No, indeed. But right here it says scientists are sure that Homo sapiens first evolved in Africa. And we know that every person alive today can trace their genetic ancestors to Africa. Every person alive today, did you hear what I said? Can trace their genetic ancestry to where? To Africa. So you see how I'm tying in the two? I'm tied in what this it says in the Bible. In the Bible, it says in the beginning, God made man, and God made man. It was good in his image, in his likeness, and God gave man dominion. So if God gave man dominion, and according to science, it says that everything had began, what they have found is in Africa. Is in Africa. So if it's all in Africa, what that's trying to tell you? What is trying to tell you? Need I say more? I don't really have to say no more. I really don't have to say any more after that. It has been thought that we begin in one single East or South Africa population would eventually spread in Asia and Egypt. But like I said, all this stuff start dividing because of the tectonic plates. When the tectonic plates, start drifting, and when they start drifting, people, they start separating, and they was into their little tribe or group, and that's how everything start changing. That's how the earth start changing. People start moving, and it's not because of the Tower of Babylon. You know how we was taught that it was the Tower of Babylon, how they made that big old huge tower and to the highest heaven, and God peeped on them, and God went ahead and he confused them. No, it's because of the tectonic plates. So what I'm trying to get you guys to see is that I did take biblical scriptures where it had said in the beginning how God had formed everything and how he gave man dominion over the entire earth. So, some of you guys, especially when it comes to our people, we don't want to hear it unless the white man tell you. Now, the white man said tell you that's Bible, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to believe it. But the same stuff that they went ahead and put together, all we doing right now is rightfully dividing the word of truth. And the workman should not be ashamed. So if they said that man was made in the image and his likeness, then according to science, it said that everything goes way back to Africa. So my question is that if everything goes back to Africa, and the Africa, was the first where all the living being was, then, and it was made in God's image. Who was made in God's image? It was a black man. So if it was a black man, then how did we fall so far? Now we got many people out there, they wants to go and take off what other people have told them instead of going out there and doing their own research. Like I said, it's time for us to stop being lazy, and it's time for us to start doing our own research, because education is elevation. So if you're ready to get to the next level, then you're going to have to educate yourself, because don't expect for these people to come out and tell you the truth. And I know that a lot of people, don't want to hear stuff like this because we've been indoctrinated. But it's time for us to go ahead and shake off of these grave clothes. It's time for us to shake off these grave clothes and start putting all the pieces together. Because, like I said, when it comes to our history pretty much was hidden. Some of it was erased. But like I said, one thing about the truth gonna slowly but surely find its way back home. And as you can see right now, the truth is finding its way back home. And the only way that the word to you is hidden because you're not ready to hear this. To hear something like this, it causes your ears to bleed because this right here is what I call a new song. And not too many people, can listen to the new song. That's just like with our ancestors, when they kept crying, and I'm going to say Moses because that's what they gave us the name Moses. But when Moses was hearing from the Most High God, the people wanted to hear from God themselves. So when God started speaking to them, they told Moses to tell God to shut up because their ears started bleeding. That's just like some of you guys right now is saying, I just wish she just shut up. But like I said, this is only for a small remnant. Not everybody is going to be able to catch on because we still walking around with these dead man clothes. But it's time for us to come out. And the only way that we can come out is that we're going to have to learn how to educate ourselves. If we can go and search all this stuff that's going on with these reality shows and all these gossip sites, then why we cannot find information that's going to cause us to get back everything that the kinky worms, the palmer worms, the locusts, and the caterpillars have taken from us? They know that they're going to have to return it back. But you see, we don't want to sit there and figure out how to get our birthrights, knowing how they have taken it through manipulation, through cunning, through a lie, because we know that they are crafty counselors. The Most High God didn't call these people, they call themselves. I just showed you right now who was the original people. Now, until science come back and can show us something different, then yes, I'm going to take that in consideration. But until now, everything leads back to Africa. Everything leads back to Africa. Which is why, and I'm going to say the power that be, you know who I'm talking about, the people that we cannot talk about. They don't even want you to even question them to do a DNA. It's illegal. Yes, research. Like I say, Google has a very huge search engine. If you even mention about them taking a DNA, you could get sanctioned from it. They will call that anti-Semitic. You can't tell them to do a DNA. Why? Why? What do you have to hide where you cannot do a DNA? Because, like I said, we got crafted counselors, wolves in sheep clothing that is amongst us. And you cannot tell us to keep sweeping this under the rug. Oh, forget about it. Why should I forget about it when your children's children is reaping the harvest? Make it make sense. Why should I forget about it when how you went about it to take everything that was rightfully belongs to us? I didn't write none of this stuff. I'm just sitting there comparing it the two together. It's like a puzzle. I'm putting the pieces together. I'm seeking truth. I want to know where I belongs. Now, some of you guys say, "Oh, it's over with. Forget about it." Well, that's something on you. I'm talking to the remnant. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying. Because we already know how these people went about it. They know that we were spiritual people. So what they did was they went and they took religion. They gave us the Bible, just like somebody said, and we took the Bible and they said then took the land. So all I'm trying to show you guys how whatever the devil meant for bad, God can turn it around for our good. Don't get rid of your Bibles, because I'm going to show you how to rightfully divide the word of truth. Now, if you know that everything was created out of Africa, then that means that they so-called Adam and Eve had to been black. Now they told us that God cursed Adam and Eve with an apple, and we took that lie and we ran with it. When we already know, according to all the information that's out there, is that they came in as missionaries. They came in as missionaries, and they forced Christianity upon us and took everything. And like I said, when it comes to Christianity, we are spiritual people. They took a lot of our stuff and they rewrote it. And they put their self in and made themselves God. Everything that you see, they did the opposite. They mimicked everything. They didn't know anything about militaries. They didn't know anything about the stuff how we had everything, leaders and chiefs. They didn't know about all this. We was warriors. Now they became soldiers because they mimic all that. Like I said, guys, the rabbit hole goes very, very deep. Very, very deep. So why we just sitting here and allowing these people continue rocking us to sleep with something that is already ours? Make it make sense. And the first thing, oh, this is being racist. No, it's not being racist. It's time for us to get back everything that the cankerworms, the palmer worms, and the locust has taken from us. Because what we see right now, we seeing your children reaping the harvest. I was reading an article, I think it was by BBC. I had made a little small video on it. I didn't drop it on my YouTube channel, but I did it on TikTok. Well, I had read that the Germans was apologizing for unaliving, because it's certain words that we could say, unaliving over 300,000, and it was more of Tanzanian in Africa, the Tanzanian in Africa, Kenya, unaliving these people, and they want us to apologize from taking these people artifacts, taking these people skulls, and making trophies out of it. How can you take people body parts and make skulls out of it, make a trophy out of it? Guys, like I say, that is not the act of God. That's the act of a devil. When you could take human beings as if it's a sport. And that's why I sit there and say, some of these people, they'll treat a dog better than what they treat human beings. Look at around. We are now, as I said, we are now sitting on the judgment seat, where we see all this stuff playing right before our eyes. Who would have thought that they would still do the same thing that they did back then to our ancestors, and still doing it today, where the entire world gets to see? Because that's just to show you the devil has no shame. The devil has no shame. And a lot of people saying, oh, this is biblical. No, they are not. This is not biblical. You can read that in the book of Jeremiah, somewhere in Jeremiah. I think it's chapter 32. Somewhere. Don't quote me wrong, but I know it's in the book of Jeremiah, where God said there and say, I didn't call these people call themselves. You're going to know what is God's people and what is not, because of the fruit that they bear. God is of love, peace, and of a sound mind. The devil comes to do three things. What? To kill, steal, and destroy. But God came that we may have life, not to take away life, that we may have life and that we may have it more abundantly. That is not the act of God. That's the act of a devil. These people put themselves in. And the thing about it is that we have all that information, all that information. It's like it's like we are some silly sheep. We can put 2 plus 2, we can put all that together, but when it comes to what's rightfully ours, it's like we just act dumb. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Because this information that I'm giving you guys, it's nothing new under the sun. This information is out there. It's not nothing that I made up. So if you said that the Most High God gave man dominion over the entire earth, made him in his likeness, his image, then I want to know, who was that man? And everything is pointing right back to Africa, guys. So the question is now, how did we fall so far? Was we cursed with all these curses that the Hebrew Israelites is putting on us? Over 600 and some curses? No, we wasn't cursed with a curse. Devil, you is a liar. That's what they wanted you to think. That you are under a curse. No, you was not under the curse. You was under the yoke of these demons that's walking around here with a barrel of a gun. That's what it was. That's what caused you to submit. That's what caused you to submit. That's why I say, guys, we got a lot to learn. We got all these jokers around here debating and trying to put all these curses upon you. When I just read to you, God sat there and said in his word that we was blessed. So if God say we was blessed, and if he's not a man that he shall lie, nor the son of man that he shall repent, then why are you saying that you was cursed of the curse with a curse? And the only reason why you could say that you was cursed with a curse is because of what your oppressors told you. That you cannot have your heaven on earth until you die. But I'm here to tell you, devil, you is a lie, and the truth is not in you. If they can have their heaven right here on earth, then we can have our heaven right now. Why we have to wait till we die to have our heaven? Because that's what they wanted to tell you. And that's why we have to learn how to rightfully divide the word of truth. And a workman should not be ashamed. You should not be ashamed. Because they know right now that their time is almost up. The whole world is watching now. And do you think that this generation, what I call the Joshua generation, that they're going to continue allowing these people to oppress and suppress to keep their foot on our neck? No, get your feet off of our neck. And it's time for us to rise. It's time for us to wake up. When we rise, then the whole world is going to follow. Long as we stay asleep, then they're going to continue working overtime on us. And that's real talk, guys. It can't get no clearer than this. But we have to take it to the beginning. And we have to learn how to sit there, know what to chew and what to go ahead and spit out. Some of this stuff, like I said, is whitewash lies. And they'll tell you, you was kicked out. No, you was not kicked out. No, you was not kicked out. You was not kicked out. What happened is just like what it says, what history tells you. These people, what they did was they formed an alliance, came together, how to take everything that was even including us, that was not nailed down. And they still sitting there taking, still lying. Because they are cunning and they manipulative people. But the question is, why are we continue allowing this to go? Why are we allowing this to happen? When will we say enough is enough? When will we sit there and say no more and take this by force? They say the kingdom of heaven suffer violence, and you have to take it by force. When are we going to take it by force? The thing about it is, like I said, nothing is new under the sun. And the reason why we continue going around and around and round, because it's like we like it in there. We like it. We like being oppressed and suppressed. We think that this is the norm. Long as we could sit at the feet while they throw us a few crumbs here and there, we like it. That's the good life. But until we sit there and say, look, I know it's something better than what we are in now, because this is not living. This is what I call barely existing. This is not living. Because when my brother hurt, you should hurt. But we think just because they throw you a few here and there, then you're supposed to forget about the other ones that they really sitting there tearing apart, not knowing they're only giving you that just as a distraction. I told you a lot of stuff that they do is a motive, is a distraction. Because you looking at them, oh, if they did it, I can do it too. Yes, you can do it. But you don't need nobody to sit there and put it together for you when it belongs to you. Because I just read it. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. He gave you dominion over the entire planet. But the question is, like I said, how did we fall so far? Where we don't even know who we are. But the Most High God is saying that it's time for us to go back to our first love. We got to go back to the beginning when we had that passion. You know how when you have your first love, you're going to always remember your first love. And that's how the Most High God wanted to be with him and you. That's how he wanted to be. Because he gave you dominion. You was made in his image and in his likeness. But how did you allow these cankerworms to come and stifle it from you? Where now you don't even know who you are. You even want to look like them. You want to act like them. And we keep wondering, well, when is the Most High God coming? Well, he's never come. If you sitting there dipping and dabbing in the things of this world, you'll never see him. But he's right there. Like I said, no more of these hocus pocus lies. You can't see him because you're so busy sitting there trying to run after things. When God sit there and say, leave these people stuff alone. And like I say, guys, this right here, this is real talk. Can't get no real than this. And this right here, this going to be where I'm at, until he told me to move somewhere else. But he heard your cry. And he haven't forgotten about you. But it's just that you have fallen so far. It's time for you to rise up. Because when you rise up, like I said, everything is going to fall in line. You know who you are. They know who you are. And that's the sad thing about it, is that they know. But they'll tell you all types of things and you're going to believe it. But the minute when somebody tried to wake you up and shake you up and tell who you are, then you're going to question. That's why we got so many people can come online and debate. This is not about debating, guys. Either you're in or you're out. Just like when I opened it up, I talked about Nicodemus. Nicodemus was a high priest. He was a scholar, a Bible scholar. But when it's time for him to sit there to come into the truth, he acted like a baby. And that's why they treat us like a baby. Because some of us act just like a baby. We ain't ready to grow up. We not ready. Because if we was ready, then we'll shake off of these grave clothes and come out of her. But like I said, ready or not, it's coming. Because one thing that we know and we see it right now, the devil does not play fair. He does not play fair. And he don't care who he try to trample over. Because as you can see right now, he's going after the seed. He's going after young babies. Young babies. And then he's trying to justify that he's doing it all in the Almighty God. God said, I didn't call these people. I did not call these people. But he got a lot of stuff, guys. All this stuff is nothing new. But we see right now, we've seen it play out. The whole entire world gets to see and watch. But I'm here to tell you right now that you do not have to be ashamed of rightfully dividing the word of truth. Because a lot of stuff they put themselves in and they whitewashed it with a lie because that's what the devil is. The devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He put himself in and made himself God. And strip you of everything, your birthrights, over a bowl of beans. And that's what we're running after right now, a bowl of beans. When the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. I can show you guys how to rightfully divide the word of truth. You don't need a rocket science. I can break it down to you where even a child can understand. He's not going to use the ones that you think that have it all together. The ones that you think got a PhD, these ones, these scholars out here. No, he's not using them because they going to start getting the glory. They going to think it's all them. That's why we got a lot of jokers right now out there exalting themselves, calling themselves God. Because they figure that they can outsmart God. But I'm telling you right now, this is real. And a lot of stuff that we was taught, guys, it was nothing but a whitewash lie. When right now he's trying to give you the truth. He's showing you the truth right now. But we are some spiritually blind people, deaf and blind. And blinded by the things of this world. But he said that, and let me go back. Let me go back and read it. So like I said, I didn't tell you, don't get rid of your Bibles. No, don't get rid of your Bibles. But I'm going to show you exactly how to rightfully divide the word of truth. And right here it says, and God said, let us make man in our image, our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the seas and over the fowls of the air and over the cattle and over all the earth and over every creeping things that creep upon the earth. So if God gave us all this, he gave us dominion, then how did we fall so far? But like I said, as you can see right now, what the Most High God is doing, he is raising the bottom up. We don't have to do anything. All we have to do is sit back and watch. Sit back and watch, because as you can see right now, they are destroying themselves. And as they destroy themselves, the Most High God is bringing them to open shame. Bringing them to open shame because now, like I said, the truth is coming out. The truth is coming out. We know who we are. They fighting over something that belongs to us. But the thing about it is that we fighting each other. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But everything that he made, he said God created man in his own image. We are made in his own image. We are made in the image of God, created by him, male and female. God created us. God created us in his image and in his likeness. And he said it was blessed. So why are you allowing these jokers out here saying you are cursed with a curse? Oh, she don't know what she's talking about. Well, if you want to continue going with those curses, what did those curses ever gotten you? You still talking about the same thing over 2,000 years ago. Well, not even 2,000 years ago, because that didn't even happen 2,000 years ago. It happened in the maybe in the 1400s. And when they figured out they couldn't really justify the Bible, they came in with another testimony, a testament. But if it was all true, the ones that actually walk with God, Enoch, why they didn't have a book of Enoch? See, like I said, the rabbit hole goes very, very deep because of these crafty counselors. But what God said in verse 28, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish, the seas, over all and every living thing that moves upon the earth. So if God said that that was all ours, how did we allow it to be taken from us? How did we allow our lower self to be this to be taken from us? Why a little small group of people have so much power? Why? And I'm about to close it out. I'm leaving you with this question. And this is where I'm going. That's why, I cannot jump on everybody's channel, because right here, like I said, God is speaking. And it's time for our people to wake up. Because, like I said, the kingdom of heaven suffer violence, and you got to take it by force. You don't want history to repeat itself, because everything is a cycle. Everything it goes around and around, and you don't want history to repeat itself again. And we already see how close they are to you again. Because if they get this spot, they gonna want another spot. But we already know what they did. We already know what they did. And we know how they did it to get it. These people was planted. These people was planted. And that's another story by itself, guys. They were planted to cause havoc. Why would you want to plant somebody in a place where you guys don't even have the same religion? Like I said, it's all man-made. It's all plotted by man. You're going to know what's God and what's of the devil, because what God give, no man can sit there and take away. God is not going to give you something and then have you up all night with it. But the reason why we don't see it, because we are so blinded by the things of the world. And guys, I got 2 more minutes. But these are the questions. And a workman should not be ashamed. And what we going to do, this is how I'm just going to allow the Spirit to lead me. He said, prove me. And it's for correction, for reproof. Because we know that it have a lot of whitewashing, When the Most High God said, I didn't call these people. They called themselves. But what he's going to do, he's going to bring them to open shame. But the only way that he can bring them to open shame is that you got to get in position. You got to rise. You got to shake off of these grave clothes and come out of her. Leave these people's stuff alone, because it all belongs to you anyway. Don't worry about it, because it's all yours. Sooner or later, like I said, their kingdom going to fall. But how their kingdom going to fall when you don't know who you are? How can God give a plan to you to go out there when you don't know who you are? All you're going to end up doing is what? Giving it back to them. until you know who you are and why are you on this assignment. Because if not, you're gonna fall back in the same trap. And on that note, guys, you all be blessed. And I'm gonna see where he's going to take me with this right here. But like I said, the question is, that when it comes to biblical texts, what's real or what is metaphorically speaking, and that too right there, you have to know exactly how to separate the two. It's like oil and water. So, guys, on that note, you all be blessed and enjoy the rest of your day.